Town of Prescott Valley Work Study Session, August 5th, 2021. Call to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Kinzinger.
Present.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Here.
Councilmember Hepperly.
Here.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Present.
Councilmember Packard.
Present.
Vice Mayor Hunt.
Here.
Mayor Palguda.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to item 3A, Yavapai College presentation and update with Dr. Ryan. And I believe Mr. Jenkins will not be joining you at the podium. Ma'am, welcome. And council, I just want to preface this with Dr. Ryan is participating in Dancing for the Stars, which is benefiting the Boys and Girls Club, and she is a returning dancer from last year. So props to her for stepping up and doing it. So welcome, ma'am.
So good evening. Good evening. I'm Lisa Ryan. I'm president of Yavapai College, and to Mayor Palguda and Vice Mayor Hunt and all the members of the Prescott Valley City Council, thank you for this opportunity to update you on what's going on at the college. I also have with me three very important guests. One is my Yavapai College District Governing Board Chair, Deb McCaslin.
Welcome, ma'am.
Yavapai College District Governing Board Member Mitch Padilla, who is from District 5.
Welcome, sir.
And as many of you know, our Vice President for Community Relations and Student Affairs, Mr. Rodney Jenkins.
Welcome, sir.
I'm going to start with some college highlights. So we are going to be fully opening in the fall. About 70 to 75% of our classes will be face-to-face. The remainder will either be online or in a hybrid format, which is a typical distribution for a fall semester. As you may know, the governor issued an executive order that required that all public community colleges and universities were not allowed to mandate vaccines, testing, or masks. And they actually tagged that on at the end of the legislative session to a budget bill. So it will become law on September 21st.
I'm sorry, can you use the microphone, please?
Yes. That we will not be able to mandate those. But we are going to strongly suggest.
Hang on a second, Dr. Ryan. Councilman, can you?
Your mic is off.
Is Casey here?
Yeah. Casey, I just saw him.
Can you do a test 1, 2?
Test 1, 2.
Just talk loud. Go ahead.
Borrow mine.
We're lucky we got Casey.
We might need that plugged in, huh?
Plugged in.
There you go.
Can you just show us your performance for Dancing for the Stars right now? Do you mind?
Top secret, sir.
There you go.
There you go. You're ready to go, Doctor.
Even though we love you, we have a favorite dancer already.
Oh, well, come out and support the Boys and Girls Club. That's what's important. So I'll start over. We are going to be fully opening in the fall, about 70 to 75% face-to-face, the remainder hybrid or online, which is typical of a fall semester. The governor did put in place an executive order that requires that public community colleges and universities not be allowed to mandate vaccines, testing, or masks. And so we're following that. It will become law. They tagged that on to the end of the legislative session in September, on September 21. So we are going to strongly encourage masks indoors, but we can't require it. So as you can imagine, that's some people are happy about that, and some people are not happy about that. But that's the direction that we're going for the fall. We are very happy that we had no major COVID-19 outbreaks during the pandemic that we traced back to anything that happened at the college. We, of course, had some cases of COVID among students and faculty and staff, but we did very extensive tracking and tracing, and none of those were tracked back to the college. We have offered several tuition incentives for fall. You might have read about these in the paper. We are offering a first class free. So yes, City Council members, each of you can register for any class that you would like at Yavapai College for free for the fall. We also are offering free semesters or a semester on us for key career and technical programs. One being at our new Verde Valley campus in our Skilled Trade Center. If you register for a semester in electricity, HVAC, or plumbing, or the construction trades, that is free. We also have recently added some career technical areas at the Career Technical Center out by the airport in Prescott. That's 3D printing and manufacturing certificate, the unmanned aircraft systems certificate, and the advanced manufacturing technology degree. So if you want to start a new program in a new area, or you have someone that you know that might be interested, now is the time to take advantage of those dollars, much of that being funded through CARES funding. We also have several new academic programs. I just mentioned that the Verde Valley campus is now offering electricity, HVAC, and plumbing. We've also added brewing. You might know that we have a Southwest Wine Center over in the Verde Valley on the east side of the mountain, and we have a 12-acre vineyard and a winery and a tasting room, and if you haven't been there, you should come. We will be happy to host you there. But we added a new line or a new track in fermentation and brewing because we felt like it would attract a younger demographic. The enology and viticulture major attracts older folks, many retired folks that want to start getting into the wine industry, but we felt like brewing would attract a younger demographic with the craft brewing. We do plan for extensive expansion of the Regional Economic Development Center. Many of you might be familiar with this entity. It exists here at the Prescott Valley campus, and we are hoping to expand that significantly. We have some federal grants that we're waiting to hear about that will allow us to significantly expand that and offer more options for workforce training and supports of business, particularly in Prescott Valley, but all of the county. We also have expanded our OER program. OER is Open Educational Resources, and this allows a faculty member to design their class using materials that are available through a common license for standard material to use in their class to replace a textbook. So they use these materials through the Creative Commons license. They build their course materials, and those are offered at zero cost to students. We expanded the number of sections that were offered in OER in the fall and the spring, and in just 2 semesters, we have saved students over $300,000 in textbook costs. 2 semesters alone.
Awesome.
We're hoping to get to the point where we can offer 50%, half of our courses OER. And you might have heard that Senate Bill 1453 was passed by the governor, and now community colleges are allowed to offer 4-year degrees. And so we're super excited about that possibility, particularly the rural colleges are excited about that. We have been given permission from our board to begin the exploration process to determine which programs might be best to offer here as 4-year degrees and to do cost analysis for that and go back to our board for support. So you will be hearing from us. We need to come to the communities to say, what do you want to see? And talk to our employers to make sure that there's justification for offering a 4-year degree. And we did all of this with no tax increase and no tuition increase. We really felt very strongly that everyone was in a very different situation because of COVID, and that it was just a terrible time to raise taxes or tuition unless we absolutely had to. So we were unable, we did not do that, and we have not raised taxes for now 3 years in a row? 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
So that's a good track record. And we also launched our new strategic plan and our subsequent plans. So I just want to say, we just went through COVID. We all went through it, right? And it was an experience like no other. And preparing for that in an organization like Yavapai College was challenging. But we did not sit back and wallow in our discomfort. We did not sit back on our laurels. We did not play victim. We got busy. We had a strategic plan that expired with the old president moving on, and so we needed to get working on our planning, and we had to create a number of other plans as well, and we spent our time really well. So we are poised for the future, and I'm super excited about getting back to it in the fall. So we had this strategic plan that we had to get going, but we also put in place 4 new plans: an academic master plan, and these are first time for the college, an academic master plan, a student affairs retention plan, a marketing and recruitment plan, and a fundraising and development plan. We also updated our human resource plan and put in place a technology plan. And we will begin our college-wide master plan. That was a 10-year plan about where we're going to go with all of our space and our facilities and the growth that we need to see with our infrastructure. That plan, we are going out right now for bid for a contractor to walk us through that process, and it'll begin in the fall. And members of Prescott Valley will be needed in that because we will be making decisions about where we go with all of our campuses, including the one in Prescott Valley. So all of those plans are aligned with our strategic plan, and they provide us with the focus and the purpose and our priorities for the coming years. It's a 3-year rolling plan because we feel like a 5-year strategic plan would get stale very quickly because things are changing very rapidly. So we are working on this idea of a 3-year rolling plan so that it's an active plan that's alive and breathing as we move forward. Components of the strategic plan include 4 what I'm calling strategic anchors. The first is belonging. We want to strengthen our commitment and our efforts to build respect, dignity, and care for one another and for our students. We also want to ensure that we are offering a program mix that prepares graduates to make a living wage. And adult learners, we need to serve more of our adult learners. Many people think that a good number of our students come right from high school. That is actually a small fraction of the number of students that we see at the community college. Our average age is up in the lower 30s, and so we need to do a better job of making sure that we are attracting, recruiting, and retaining and graduating adult learners. There's actually a study that came out recently in 2019, and it was about this idea that there's a lot of people within the state of Arizona that have some college but no degree or certificate. That number is 589,000 people in Arizona that do have maybe a class or 2, but they never finished what they started. And that number is 65,000 for Yavapai County. We know who those individuals are. We're able to figure that out through our data systems, and so we are targeting those folks, and we're asking them to come back and finish what they started. We also have a large Hispanic population in this county, and when we looked at the data there, the number of Hispanics between 25 and 64 that have no college is 58.5%. Significantly higher than the majority, which is 34.4%. So we want to help to close that gap and improve the quality of life for all of our citizens. And then we're looking at delivery. We know that we need to be better and more responsive to what our students need. So we need to offer courses in shorter chunks. Instead of a 16-week semester, why not an 8-week semester? Why not have multiple start dates so you don't have to start on the first day, or August 16th, as our semester starts this time, but maybe you could start on the first of every month and not have to wait until a subsequent semester to get going. We also are looking at the idea of increasing online options and making those more quality and standardized programs, and also looking at expanding again OER because we think that's critically important. So with belonging, we want to create a culture where all employees feel engaged, inspired, and supported. We also want to make sure that they have professional development opportunities that allow them to grow and develop as individuals. And we want to make sure that we need to make sure that our students feel like they belong at the college. We know from research that students that have a sense of belonging, when they hit those obstacles or they run into adversity when they're in college, they're more likely to stay if they feel like they have a sense of belonging. If they don't have that sense of belonging, they tend to blame themselves. They tend to have self-doubt. They quit. And so we have a job to make sure that students feel like they belong here, because they do.
Yeah.
We build what we do for them. In terms of a living wage, we need to secure living wage jobs for folks. We use the mantra, we need to leave students better off than when they came to us. And so regardless of how much life has kicked them around, we need to take them to a different place, take them as far as we can go with them, and leave them off better than when they came to us. We're creating a one-stop shop for workforce training, and that's through our Regional Economic Development Center here in PV. And we're also aligning our transfer programs so that we can make sure that students, when they do transfer, if that is their choice, if they don't want to go right into the job market, when they transfer to a four-year university, that they transfer truly as a junior. In terms of adult learners, again, we're going to focus on those with some college, no degree, Hispanic learners, and our lifelong learning option. I don't know if any of you know about our OLLI program, but it's a very solid, strong program for seniors. We have several thousand on this side of the mountain and several thousand on the other side of the mountain that participate in credit and non-credit options through our OLLI programs. And in terms of delivery, I talked a little bit about this already, but we're looking to be best in class in pedagogy, increasing our online enrollment, improving multiple start dates or adding them, and fast-track programs, expanding OER, and improving our credit for prior learning so that we can get students through more quickly. I do want to say thank you to Prescott Valley. We have a really wonderful relationship, not only with the city, but with Prescott Valley Economic Development Foundation and with the Chamber through Marnie. I mean, we just have a wonderful relationship with you, and I just want to thank you all for that. I believe my board members would like to say something
Absolutely.
as well.
Welcome, ma'am.
Deb McCaslin, I'm in District 2, and as Dr. Ryan mentioned, I'm the chair of the board this year, and I love it. I've been involved with the Apple Pie College since 1970. When it started, I was a student there, graduated, went to NAU, came back, worked, went back to college to get a degree and have a better job, and worked for the college for 34 years. Now I'm an alum and decided I think I'll help with the board because I know the history, and I have worked with every president of Apple Pie College. Dr. Ryan is number 10, and she is our best. And she's taking us further along than we ever imagined. So it's great to be there. As a board member, our role is to support the president. She is our one employee, plan for the future of the college, protect the college, and get ownership input. So that's part of the reason why we're here, just to observe and thank you for your time. And District 2, as you know, is on the south side of Highway 69 and the whole eastern part of Yavapai County. So I'm part of your district, or part of Prescott Valley, and get in touch with me whenever. I know a lot of you from different clubs I'm involved with, so thank you for letting us come and speak with you today. And we have Mitch Padilla, our District 5 board member, that's just going to say a few words.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mitch Padilla. I just recently got on the college board for District 5. Predominantly, a big, large portion of District 5 is Prescott Valley. So I am happy to be serving everybody. I enjoy it. Deb read all the notes I gave her, so she sounded great. And anyways, Dr. Ryan has been doing a terrific job, and Rodney Jenkins seated behind me also. Just fantastic leadership, so I'm really enjoying it. I've been in the area in Prescott for the past 15 years. Got got out of California, and big proponent on education, which is why I wanted to be involved. And this was the second office that I had run for. A few years ago, I ran close, didn't quite get there, but I'd like to stay involved, and as I said a moment ago, big proponent of education. So thank you very much. Look forward to serving you.
Thank you, sir.
Mitch, would you like to share with us what you do in your other life?
Yes, I am a full-time attorney, and my office is right across the street from the Prescott Courthouse downtown, predominantly criminal defense, some wills and trusts, quadros, and I also provide free assistance to the VA and U.S. vets for veterans that have issues with child support and custody issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
So that concludes our report, but I would be happy to take any comments or questions that you have.
Council, will you have anything for Dr. Ryan? Councilman.
Ma'am, thank you for coming in here tonight. One of the things I want to congratulate the Yavapai College on is the helping with the trades business. You know, you're offering the free trade classes, and that's one of the issues anymore with construction. They can't, I think, I've asked in the past, I think when the housing crisis, 2008, 2009, things kind of went the heck in a handbasket, and a lot of the good people found other jobs. So now the tradespeople today that we have maybe are not qualified or whatever. So I want to, my hat goes off to you on that. The other thing, I just had a question when you were saying you have access to us older people. What if you've had education outside the state, but you got some class credits, but not a whole lot? Do you have access to that, or is it just inside Arizona, or is it across the United States, people that are living here in Yavapai College? I mean, Yavapai County.
That can take advantage of the classes?
Yeah, well, you were talking about, you could find out if where the adults have had some classes in
right.
the past.
That's right.
Now, so is that people that have just taken classes in Arizona, or is that nationwide people that live in Yavapai College now? I mean, Yavapai County now?
No, we have access to that information nationally, and it's broken down by state. And so we're focusing on Arizona just because that's a reasonable chunk for us to continue to look into, but that information is available by state.
So even though I got education in Iowa, you could you will access it now, or you could in the future?
We could.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary thought. I don't know if I want you to see my transcript or not at that point. And the last thing, one of your closing statements, and my hat goes off to you on this one. You want to leave the students better off when they leave than when you found them. Right. And that is, I think, throughout life, that's what we got to look at. And I want to congratulate you on saying that and practicing that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Councilwoman?
I want to thank all of you for your service to our community and to the college. And I was wondering, I didn't pick up, maybe you said, when do classes start? How do they go about getting registered? And who do they contact? Is there a phone number that they should contact or go online? Or if you could lead us
so
there.
classes for fall start on August 16th, and they can go to yc.edu, and you cannot go on that website without seeing how to register. It won't allow you to bypass anything. You can't look at the webpage. We have figured out a way to make sure you can see exactly how to register. Just go to yc.edu.
Dr. Ryan, will girls soccer will they still have a season this year?
Yes.
And will they be playing out in Prescott Valley, I believe? Is that correct?
Rodney thought he was going to get away without speaking, but...
So actually our ladies soccer team just arrived today. They moved in their residence halls today. We will be coming down to Prescott Valley. We want to do some camps, some clinics, as well as we'll work out playing some games. So
excellent. Thank you. And I just want to congratulate you on what you do for Yavapai College. I, too, am a Yavapai College alumni, and I went on to NAU and subsequently New Mexico State for my master's, but it truly started at Yavapai College. And like most 18, 19-year-old kids, you're kind of lost and you don't know really what's going on. And you guys do an amazing job there. And under your leadership, it's just gotten better. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, item 3B, Economic Development Quarterly Update. Cutter, you going first?
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for having me here again. Let's see. I wanted to start with our demographics, kind of tell you where we're at in Prescott Valley right now. So currently our population is about 49,000. Median age for PV is roughly 43 years old. Median household income, $51,985. Unemployment for PV is currently 6.4%. That's slightly less than the state unemployment rate, which is 6.8% right now. The census numbers have not come out yet, but we're expecting to see those hopefully on August 16th. That'll give us a better idea of what our growth was for the last year and where we're headed. And this is the sales tax numbers for the fiscal year, last year, 2020, 2021. This is retail, restaurant, and hotel combined, are all at an all-time high at $21,896,187, and are up 23% from last year. So those numbers are very good. This amount collectively takes about 70% of that for sales tax generated. So out of everything we get, 70% comes from retail, restaurant, and hotel. What I've currently been working on is with Larry Prentice and Public Works. We are developing an available properties tab for our website. This will showcase development opportunities for interested buyers, showing an aerial image of the parcel, building specs, demographic profiles for each location, and who the owner of the location is. This will provide interested parties with an interactive format to see available properties themselves and can forward that information out to customers, investors, whoever they deem necessary. So if you were to click on one of those tabs here, I'll go back real quick. You see the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the map. Now we're just starting slow, but that's just to get the site kind of going. On the left side of the screen there, you have each of the parcels or sites, and you can click on more info, and thus you'll have this slide. So basically it'll give you, and we can do more pictures, that's just the one we're kind of starting with, but it'll give you an idea of what the parcel looks like. So ignore the information down there. Like I said, this is a rough draft. And like I said, it zooms into the actual aerial of what you're looking at, and you can always go back, and like I said, you can share that link and share it out. Larry's working on a button where you can actually just click Facebook, and it'll shoot it right to Facebook, Instagram, any of the social media platforms. And here's kind of a close-up of what we're doing with different sites in town that, you know, we really want to put a focus on and get these sites, get attention really towards them. Let's see, the term is focusing efforts in specific areas in town that are prime locations for retail, commercial, industrial manufacturing. We're creating these high-resolution photos with a drone, obviously, but it's to get a bird's-eye view of the property and the surrounding businesses. Really, it's to, like I said, show the major highway, the vehicles per day, and this is huge for businesses. They want to see what is around there. I was working, before I even did this, I had shot an aerial image, and it's a little misleading because you see pockets of land just empty, and it doesn't look like, oh, there might not be development there, but it's because there's a huge mountain behind you or a downslide behind Sam's Club, you know, the old building. So this, I think, kind of gets you a little bit closer, gives you more of a 3D visual of what you're looking at. Currently, I'm working with Heidi and Latoya from Community Relations. We're going to be developing a unique and informative Shop Local campaign. This is to highlight the importance of shopping local and will provide the public with better understanding of retail tax and why they should keep it in town limits. Why is it important to the community? So the campaign will start at the end of November. It will run until the end of the year to capture the attention of any of the holiday shoppers. And there's just another one. So you can kind of see what we're doing. Those are a couple different sites. I've got a lot more coming, but that's just to get us started. The PV Economic Development Team is registered for multiple trade shows and conferences for this year and next. We'll be showcasing Prescott Valley and the reasons businesses should choose PV for their next or new location. During trade shows and conferences, the ED team will target specific businesses that are not yet in the area, and that would be a great fit for the town. Businesses, currently what's going on, Roberts Market north of 89A is moving right along. That location will have an A&W root beer restaurant, convenience store, gas station, car wash, and available retail shops. For sure, he's got Snap Fitness moving across into the new building. He's currently working with another tenants, hoping to be open in the next few months. The Maverick location, they're hoping to be open by late September, early October sometime, so they are really going, yeah. Rosa's Pizzeria is currently training the new staff, and they will be working at the PV location, and they hope to open at the end of the month. So keep our fingers crossed. Grumpy Sicilian recently opened at the Fry's Marketplace, and they have been busy, but they are in desperate need of employees, which a lot of the businesses in town are. So we got to get the word out there. I've been in constant contact with our CBRE rep, who is tasked with selling the old Sam's Club building, and has informed me that they are currently working with a buyer. That's as far as I know. They don't tell me any more or any less, but that's what he tells me. So keep your fingers crossed again. There are currently about 8 commercial projects that have already submitted plans and are in the review stage of the process. We are hoping to have approval soon and start to move forward there. And then Terry Marshall and Ron Fain with the Fain Signature Group, Rob Schramm from Kitchell Development, Robert Hamill with Roberts Market have all reported to me that they are working with tenants and will let me know once lease agreements are signed. So I have obtained brochures from all 3 of these developers, and I'm actively sending that information out to interested parties right now, and I have it on hand for myself. So anytime anybody says anything, I have our own stuff, and I have exactly what they've given me. So that's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions for me.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Cutter, this is like one of the best ED presentations we've ever had. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So when are you going to have a broker meeting so you can roll this out to the brokers?
Well, what we were trying to do is really kind of hone in on that available properties tab. That's really something that we wanted to get kind of all that information. We didn't know ourselves yet how it would function, really how good it would be, so we really wanted to kind of figure that out before, because we didn't want to go promise the world to anybody and then them come and say, no, I don't want anything to do with that. So what we're kind of doing is working with this. Kitchell Development knows we're doing that. Ron Fain had seen this, Robert's over at Roberts Market. So they've all kind of know what's going on. But yes, once we really kind of hone into this, then we're going to kind of broadcast that out and then let anybody else give us information, because a lot of this information we kind of have to go track down ourselves. So it's a lot of footwork. So
yeah, I think it's important to be good partners with our commercial and industrial brokers.
Yep.
And at least bring them in quarterly.
Yep.
For a dog and pony show, so they know what the town is doing.
Yep.
So I think that's very important. And when you said the PVED team was going to trade shows, that's you and the mouse in your pocket?
Mike and Marnie, pretty much, and myself. So we all combine. So I have ones that I specifically go to since I'm targeting retail and commercial businesses. And then, of course, Mike's got his own because he's looking at industrial manufacturing. So we don't go to all the same trade shows. That's kind of why I bundled it up and said we're going to multiple ones. We both have our lists, that we definitely have. But yeah, so that's the reason for kind of splitting up and taking resources to different places. So we're not all at the same show. So.
Can we get a copy of those first couple slides that had the demographics in
Absolutely.
our boxes?
Yes.
Thanks.
Yep.
Councilman?
Cutter, did you say that once this is up and running, a prospect could come in, a prospective business could come in just to look at Prescott Valley and click on an icon, and they could see all these different properties available and all that? That's not there yet, is it?
No.
But
no.
it will be.
From my understanding, I don't think we've ever had a site like that here. A couple of the other communities down in the valley, that's kind of what I tried to mimic, was I had actually had a meeting with the economic development manager of Buckeye, because they had a site that I just absolutely loved. It really showcased, these different sites in town, and you could kind of browse yourself, If they contacted me, it was basically an email format, me taking these screenshots, setting it up in a PDF and sending it to them. But in this way, they don't technically have to go through me. They can go right to our ed.pvaz site, and it'll say available properties. It'll actually be a tab. You'll be able to click it. And like I said, you'll basically come up with this. This is a little bit more zoomed in because I wanted to show the 1, 2, 3, 4 close up and the information on the side. But yeah, they'll be able to, and we can pretty much add any site that we want. We're just kind of getting started with the few.
Then will you get feedback? Somebody clicks on that from Ohio or from wherever. Will you get a name and a phone number or an address or something, or you do a follow-up call later?
Well, we can see the analytics, so I can kind of track the traffic coming to the site. I can see that, but no, it won't be basic information. If they wanted me to know that they were checking out the site, there's basically a comment or email on there that they can just contact me straight away, and any of the pages you go on the ED site has my email, phone number at the bottom, so they can pretty much reach out. But no, it's not going to show me exactly who and what has clicked on it. Just like I said, we can kind of track analytics and figure out who's clicking and from where, but not specific yet.
Well, thank you for your help, and thank you for all the work you've done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cutter. Oh, Councilwoman?
Yes.
Hi, Cutter.
Hi.
I've enjoyed seeing you around town and being at various presentations that you've made, and you're very detailed and thorough, and I so appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I think that you were showing us mostly Highway 69. Are there any prospects for Glassford Hill?
Oh, yes, yeah, for sure. So basically, like I said, we were just kind of getting started. These ones, because of the amount of information I had on hand, was Kitchell Development, because like I said, their brochure is very, very specific with all the information. So, and of course, that's pretty much our busiest marketplace that you have coming in for just retail and commercial stuff. If it's, especially not because it's the Fry's grocery store or anything like that. We're looking at, real shoppers, not just grocery shoppers. And so that's why we started with that. But we can pretty much put as many sites on this as we want. Of course, we do have to, maintain and manage the whole thing. But like I said, this is a good start, especially for key areas that we know we just got to get the attention out there too. Some of these spots, like I said, when I first came into town, I didn't realize that there was an empty parcel available right behind the WZ Asian Bistro, because it's not, you can't really tell unless you're really, really looking. And then once we got down closer, we understood that, there's all these little pockets that are still primed for development. So, and the real reason this all started, of course, you see site number 1 up there was the Sam's Club building. We knew we had to put a focus on that building. We had to get some attention on that, and I think this will really showcase that. Hopefully it won't have to be on the site for long, but no matter what, we're still moving forward just in case. We're not sitting back just waiting for that to happen, because like we all know, we've heard it a couple times that something was going to happen and it didn't. So that's what we're doing. We are, like I said, we actually have, and I don't have it with me, but we have actual drone footage of the building going a complete radius around it, showing the bays, the whole 9, and all the whole shopping center close by. So that's why that really, like I said, was a main focus for us. So then it just branched off into, let's pretty much do all the retail and commercial sites that we can, and then we'll branch into industrial and manufacturing. So,
great.
Thanks, Cutter.
No other questions for me?
No, you're good. Great
job. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Mr. Paredes, welcome, sir.
Thank you. Mayor, members of the council, good afternoon. Thank you for having me once again. I don't have a really nice presentation this time. There's about 3 things that we're doing internally that all are in progress, and I don't want to show you until it's up and running. So promise next time I'll have a really nice cut.
That's like everything with you when you come in front of us. Always you're on a need-to-know basis, council, and you're not ready to hear this right now.
And then I get the 5-minute, hurry up, Mike, and finish up your presentation. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me this afternoon. Again, Mike Paredes. I am the Executive Director of the Prescott Valley Economic Development Foundation. Just wanted to give you a quick update. And thankfully, we are back on track on feet on the ground, boots on the ground when it comes to trade shows and trade events. This is our bread and butter, and this is what we do. This is what PVDF has budgeted for over the last year or so. Unfortunately, last year, as you know, most, if not all, trade shows were completely shut down. And so our very first one is next week. We have it's about 4 or 5 trade shows into one, but they call it the Medical Device and Manufacturing Trade Show. There's about 4 of them that piggyback on that. So it is a major trade show in Anaheim. I will be in LA on Monday morning, fly out this weekend and be there Monday morning. I'm meeting with some clients. I have staff in Anaheim at the same time. We have the Orange County Electronics Show, which will be October 13 and 14. So we'll be there about 2 or 3 days meeting with potential manufacturers and in the electronics industry. We will also have one in Long Beach, mid-November, 16th, 17th, and 18th. We plan to be in Long Beach at that one. It is an aerospace type manufacturing. We have numerous manufacturers in the aerospace industry. And so for 2021, these are the 3 that we have budgeted for and that we're okay money-wise. And so we do plan to do more in 2022. We also plan to do, we had a very successful, the PVDF took the lead in 2019 B2B event, business to business. We coordinated, we organized, we invited Southern California companies to. We rented out a restaurant across from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, and numerous companies from around LA County and Orange County. I believe one from San Diego County drove up. Very successful in 2019. We were planning on do one every quarter, if not 3 a year. But again, 2020 gave us that hiccup, and so we're planning to do our first one in 2022 as soon as the year starts. And again, PVDF took the lead on this one, and who participated was obviously us, the town, Chino Valley, City of Prescott, Arizona Public Service, Yavapai College we partnered, and we also APS. And so all the reps were there, and it's a very successful format to meet face-to-face and give these clients an opportunity. And when you wine and dine them, it helps to just in a very informal format sit down with them and then talk the possibilities of doing some business in Prescott Valley. And so I'll give you an example. After about 2.5 years of working with a specific client in Orange County, driving and flying out there, meeting with them, this meeting that we did in the latter part of 2019 solidified his wanting to be here. And so he's currently operational up in Chino Valley. So I know they work. We've done this in the past, and once we start organizing this, I invite 1 or 2. If you're able to join us, I will let you know when we do the next one in 2022, and maybe you'd like to join us in one of the B2B events. I have staff over in Sahuarita right now at the Rural Policy Forum. We've been busy internally with Prescott Valley manufacturers, connecting them with different resources for their benefit, whether it's grants, whether it's job creation. So Arizona Commerce Authority, United States Department of Commerce, different types of programs that they offer. There's specific companies that we've been working with around town that we want. It's not just important to attract new companies, but one of the big benefits is once they're here, to keep them here and to retain them here. That's where the majority of those new job creations come into play. Like I said, we are working on some online geo-tracking, on some online advertising in our specific markets. We are able to track, again, to your previous question to Cutter, we are able to track some demographic information of location, GIS, these type of tracking models within our advertising. You're able to see who's clicking, the demographic type of who's clicking, and the location. For us, 95% is within the California market. So we do throw it out there. And once you start building that marketing and that advertising, you know where to throw some dollars. It's not very expensive as I can ever afford a quarter page in a magazine. Sometimes it's $4,000 or $5,000. There's no way. For a small portion, everybody does online now, and so this is what we're doing, and we're hitting specific zip codes in specific areas of California, and we're getting some pretty good leeway and some eyes clicking on our website, and I know that's what Cutter's plan is for the town in terms of retail. But yeah, no, that's my quarterly report. I promise I'll have a really nice one. There's some new marketing designs. I'll show you what we have. Physical marketing pamphlets that we're not just doing mailings, but we're doing what we're using for the trade shows, but also some of the new aspects of our website that will allow potential clients to be clicking in, and so I can report that back in our next report. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Councilman.
Just one question.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to bring us good news in November then? That's 3 months.
3 months to attract a company?
Yeah. So, you said you're going to be bringing us good news in the next report. That's 3 months, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
You come here every 3 months, so I'm expecting. So we
probably...
can expect in November then you'll give us good news then.
I think so.
Good. Thank you very much.
As you know, industrial. This line of business takes a while.
Yeah, I wanted to see it before Kel did.
Anything else for Michael?
Yes, sir.
Vice Mayor?
We're always looking for more partners with PVEDF, and we'd love it if the county could be a tiny partner.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you poke her, Kurt? I said we'd love it if the county could be a tiny partner to PVEDF.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm working on it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael.
Mayor,
Appreciate
Council,
you.
thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Item 3C, Water and Sewer Rate Study Report. Sir, welcome. I don't think the remote works.
All right, I'll just do it manually then, the old-fashioned way. So good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Again, I am Mark Lusan. I am the Customer Accounts Division Manager. I'm here to talk about our synopsis of the rate water study that we, myself and Katie, have been doing since about February or March. We worked pretty diligently on this for several months in order to maintain and get the best and most accurate pricing that we can for our water and sewer rates. So the purpose of this is for us to establish the base cost of the service. We want to make sure that we maintain an adequate and sustainable pricing for our residents and customers. We also want to make sure that it has adequate financial performance as it relates to bond coverage and town policies. We have certain minimum coverages that we have to maintain per town policy. And we also want to make sure that we are adequately charging our residents, not too high, not too low. We don't want to bankrupt ourselves or overcharge our residents. Our current rate structure has a few different components. We have base fees, which is related to the meter size and the customer class. Currently, they are together in base fee size, or base fee price, sorry, but it does differentiate as the meter size gets larger. So residential meter at 5/8 is lower price than a commercial meter at 6 inches. We also have a tiered volume rate. We have 3 different tiers, and that price per 1,000 gallons goes up the more you use. For your average residential home, it is the first 8,000 gallons is tier 1, 9,000 to 20,000 gallons is tier 2 pricing, and above 20,000 is tier 3, which is the most expensive price. Currently, at the rate that we're at, a single-family residence using 6,000 gallons a month, that water side of that bill is going to be $28.26. Same on the sewer side. There's a lot of similarities based on the meter size, the customer class. During the winter months, we have what we call a winter quarter average. It takes the usage for the months of November through March, and we do a 5-month average of that and do 90% of that average, and we use that as the cap for their monthly sewer rate for the following year. At the current rates, a single-family resident using 4,000 gallons on their sewer side is going to be $23.23. The factors that go into this calculation, we take the budget expectation, the debt service. Right now we have a pretty low debt service, none on the water side, only a few bonds left on the sewer side. The number of projected gallons, so that's our big headache for Katie and I, is looking into the future and estimating what we're going to use next year. And taking that into with the number of customers. With that, we get our revenue requirement and divide that by the rate, and we see where we're at, whether we need to increase it, decrease it, or leave it the same. So looking at those results that we took over this last year, we always go off of about a plus or minus 1%. Last year we were looking at about a 0.55% increase. We're still maintaining that. We've actually bettered a little bit this year. Because it's within that plus or minus 1%, we're calling for no change in the water rates. And same with the sewer. After those calculations, it is still less than a 1% increase. Last year we were at about 0.5, so a quarter of a point. It's still doing strong in that. So again, within that plus or minus 1%, we're asking for no rate increase on the sewer side as well. Any questions, comments?
I think it's great that, I mean, it's hard to argue with, hey, we're not going to raise rates at all. So I think the citizens will be very excited and very happy to hear that. So
that's always good news.
That's always
this is the 4th year where we are not asking for any increase.
That's terrific. So kudos to you and kudos to Ms. Katie. Vice Mayor.
Great job, Mark. Thank you. And thank you, Katie, that you did all this in-house. You could tell that it was a lot of work. So briefly, if you give this presentation next week when it gets approved, is this on next week? No? Oh, it doesn't. It's just information. Awesome. So briefly, right now, real quick, can you tell me how we help people that can't afford the $51.49 a month?
We have different organizations that we have contact information for that we pass on to our customers who can't afford that 51, or because of the last 16, 17 months have fallen behind. We've had several resources, including DES, who's helped customers get back on their feet with their water and sewer bills.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Everything. All right, we're on item 3D. Annie, hang in there, okay? This is the last one.
Ryan didn't fill it full enough.
Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The item you have before you tonight is typical practices. We come this time of year in Public Works to talk about the flood control intergovernmental agreements. That's funding to fund stormwater channel or stormwater improvement projects. We come at this time because typically our town budget's been approved and then the Yavapai County's approved their budget, so we know exactly how much money's been approved. So we propose projects. Funding sometimes can be unknown, so we'd like to match those best we can, but we know exactly how much funding we do have because budgets are set now. So what we'd like to do is come to council in order to put the funding mechanism in place to receive our countywide tax levy that we get from the flood control district, so that we do that by the instrument of an intergovernmental agreement so that we can capture funding when we actually do a project. So that's what you have before you, the intergovernmental agreement for this year, and the amount of the funding this year coming from the flood control district is $435,000. What staff is proposing and in the intergovernmental agreement is the Starlight sidewalk, as you see up above here. This project is a contribution of funding. This project has a couple funding sources. You may be aware that this is a community development block grant that we're going to move forward with. Here a couple weeks ago at the council meeting, we set in motion that agreement with the county that the town will actually administrate this project for the county through community development block grant funds. In addition, the amount in order to put the stormwater management into a pipe is around $300,000. So that's another funding source. In addition, the $800,000 project, another $100,000 will come from HERF, so we can actually do this roadway widening and put the sidewalk in for that 2,800 feet, as you see. So we anticipate late in the spring we'll be able to do this project, and this is the funding mechanism in place. The second project that staff proposes for funding is this particular channelization project. Council may be aware last year we put into place the channel. We did a multi-year project. I think you've seen those past exhibits. I didn't bring it tonight, but we've done it basically from Spouse down to the Agua Fria. Now what staff would like to look at is actually the channel that in-house we did some channel improvements, but we do need to put the ultimate channel in place from Spouse up to Longlook to complete that whole corridor. So it's always a phased approach in how we approach this. So we want to look at the design. We've got about $135,000. We can look at the design in order to get project scoped, and we hope to do a phasing plan so when we do the construction that we can move forward and put that into the budget. So that's what we propose for this year's funding, for flood control district funding. As always, we want to thank Supervisor Mallory. She's here tonight, as you're well aware, for the particular advocating always for the flood control district funding. In addition, I did want to comment, too, that the Federal American Rescue Plan money that Yavapai County has been receiving, or has received, Supervisor Mallory has been working very hard to see if actually construction that we would do the design could deliver a particular stormwater management project in the area, because as you can see, anytime you put a stormwater management project into place, that does help our residents, especially in light of the fact of the monster storm we had here 2 weeks, been the biggest we've seen in 20 years with staff, just knowing the volume of water that came. These particular drainage ways, if we wouldn't have had the improvements we put into place, man, they would have blown out. We'd still be repairing it. So, fortunately, anytime you do a stormwater management project, it helps raise that service level, enhance not only access, but residents that would take on water during their homes. We did hear reports we've had about a dozen homes take on water in that last storm, which is unfortunate, but could be a lot worse without the stormwater improvements. So with the American Rescue Plan, we're hoping we did send some construction estimates, staff did, so we're always working on funding. So if we sniff there could be some funding available, we'll certainly go try to capture it and deliver a project. So that would be do the study this year, but hopefully if American Rescue Plan money comes together, if Supervisor Mallory is successful, we would be more than happy as staff to deliver those channel improvements as you see scoped here to complete the channel up to Longlook. And then ultimately, as we talk with council, this corridor is a transportation and drainage channel. The roadway improvements are scoped down at Custer, but in coming years, we could actually scope the adjacent 2 lanes of roads so that we not only have the stormwater management in this particular corridor, but also the roadway improvements. So that's really what you have before you. Staff would like to bring it back to you next week to approve the intergovernmental agreement. We'll get it signed, sent to the county, and it sets in motion the funding for these 2 projects that we've talked about. And hopefully more if some of this American Rescue Plan money, if we can get that, justified, that this would be a viable project in order to help this particular area. Any questions I can answer?
It sure seems like you put a lot of pressure on Supervisor Mallory to produce out there. So.
Always working hard for funding. She works hard for us, too.
Anything else for Norm at this time? Councilwoman Hepperly.
Does your channelization improvements include any aspects for capturing the stormwater, or is it mostly just about moving it on?
Yes, both. Not only capturing it, but also moving it through that particular corridor. So that what we do is we look at the ultimate, 100-year storm event, which those channels out there now aren't that big. So that's ultimately what we look at for that design standard. So it would not only capture it, but also convey it in improvements down through that corridor.
Thank you.
Supervisor, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council staff, and Mr. Gilbert. Nice to see you. It's an honor to be here. I love the partnership that the town and the county has. When it comes to the, when we were talking about economic development and things like that, we were talking about taxes. So, of course, this comes from property tax, what we receive here. And the town of Prescott Valley does not have a property tax. And I really want to stress that because there is a lot of confusion about that situation. The town of Prescott Valley survives on sales tax. The property tax, you live in Yavapai County, you pay property tax to Yavapai County. And the flood control receives some of that. In the past 7 years, Prescott Valley has received $4,210,000 back from the taxes that they paid on the flood control. And yes, this year we are doing $435,000. Yavapai County, I really appreciate the Board of Supervisors because not all counties do share back with their municipalities. And it is at the board's discretion whether this money is returned back. So that is something that I surely would fight for because I think that's important, and I appreciate Yavapai County for that. So going forward, we do have that ARP money. We are going to look at infrastructure for that. So definitely, this is a subject of infrastructure. The Starlight Project is an amazing project that's going to bring a lot of community growth and safety. And I appreciate, Mayor, your work and hard work doing this along with Ryan Judy. So I don't know if you have any questions for me, but I do love being your county supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, thank you for all that you do for Prescott Valley. So
I got to go find some more money.
That's all. You got to start right now. All right, with that being said, folks, we're done for the evening. Drive safe. Thanks for coming out.